Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show's about to begin. Dom, let's put on a show.
Let's do it.
Right. Welcome to a milestone episode of Golden Nuggets with Silvia Eldawi. Today's a big day. It's a special episode. We are also going live on Instagram because I don't know how much of this episode is actually going to make the final cut because I'm here with Dan Haddy. No, I'm not here with Dan Haddy. I'm here with Dom Haddy.
He wishes he had names.
The brother of Daniel Haddy. And I actually knew you first.
I did the intro.
Yeah, you did the intro to Dan. And you are one of the four founders or one of the four people behind the OnlyComms meme page, which is probably the funniest real estate meme page there is.
There's so many of them, Silvia. It's not that hard.
Not much competition. And also founder of Only Sports. Yeah. So you've got a lot going on. I want you to help me celebrate my 50th episode. So this is the 51st episode, the 51st state of it. And we're going to lightly touch on all 50, maybe the key moments, and I'll get your opinion on them. I also turned 1 yesterday, the 4th of July.
Congratulations, happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, happy anniversary to Propology and Golden Nuggets. And yesterday, I don't know if it's just like by magic, but I hit the 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. Oh. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button because we're pumping out fantastic real estate content every week.
Yeah, so like for your first 50 episodes, you've got like masters of sales, you've got like pioneers and like, the who's who, the legends of the buy real estate. For episode 51, you thought, I'll get the guys who do Hasbulla videos for likes on the internet. So
exactly. I mean, just genius, absolute
Pinnacles.
Genius. Right. So the cameras are going to roll for about an hour.
Cool.
But if this episode ends up being 30 minutes, just know that we said 30 minutes of stuff that couldn't make the final cut. But yeah, so I'm very proud of your journey as well.
Thank
so
you.
I'm going to celebrate you too. You've gone from Phileas Fogg, holding events at Phileas Fogg, which is how we met actually.
It was, I was about to say, you say, you'll give me a shout. If it wasn't for people like yourself, Hugh at Broker Connector, the guys who
Shout
invested,
out Hugh, Broker Connector.
Jack Benson as well. These guys were the ones, Kempo as well. These are the guys who kind of focused on us for that first fight show, gave us the opportunity to believed in it, and it's led us to infinity.
Because it was actually Hugh from Broker Connector, who I've known for years. He introduced me to you guys and said, like, these guys are pulling off an amazing night, looking for sponsorship. Would you sponsor a belt? And that was when I was at Keeper.
Yeah.
Met you and Jimmy, very exciting night, great audience, all the who's who of real estate. And we got involved and it was I actually got into the ring and I handed the belt to the winner. So that's how we met. And since then we've stayed friends.
We have.
And, we're in the same circles. So it's very fitting that you're here today. Now, tell us about the next fight that's coming up because you've gone from Montgomery. No, is it Montgomery?
Yeah, the Monte. Yeah, so it's at Emirates Golf Club. It's not opposite the Monte. Yeah.
And in like 2 years, you're at Burj Khalifa.
2 years, pretty much exactly. So we did the first show at Phileas Fogg's, I think it was September 9th or September 10th, 2022. And then from there, we went to Caesar's Palace on Blue Waters. From there, we went to the W Hotel, the Palm. Then we went to downtown for the Burj Khalifa, the Armani Pavilion, April just gone. And then, we're calling it the finale on September 13th for Atlantis the Royal.
The Atlantis the Royal. Yeah. Tell us about, you had Mayweather ringside at the last one. So who can we expect to see in September?
We're working on it. We've got some good names. And, the one thing that having these sort of people come down is it kind of opens doors for other people to come down. So we've spoken to a few people. There are some big names we want, but for us, the local celebrities are the real estate people, right? So I'd rather see, if you have an A-list celebrity ringside, great. But if we have 2 CEOs in the ring, that's my goal.
Have you got any CEOs lined up in the ring?
Well, we've had one CEO, of Novi Properties, Omar. He's fought before, and he's fought twice now. We've had rumblings of other CEOs. Obviously, what was it, a Fight Night 3? And I was talking about, it's on YouTube,
open,
so they can see it.
Okay.
In Fight Night 2, Rob Kempton did a bit of a call out. Fight Night 3, Lewis Alsop done a bit of a call out. So look, I think it's all in jest. It's all having a good laugh. We've had videos circulate of CEOs and MDs call other CEOs and MDs out, but realistically, we've only had one step up so far. However, we are talking to somebody today about fighting at Fight Night 5. Look, I think everyone's always like, we'll do the next one, but we've said, we're calling it the finale. Is it coming back in the future? Never say never, but for us, this is our focus and we go from there.
Well, we need a bigger and badder hotel to open up for you to have your next event, because you can't get better than Royal Atlantis. Can
Casinos.
You?
I think that's going to be the next focus, or Fight Island, something like that.
Or Ushuaia, when it opens up in Rack.
Ushuaia would be good. The O Beach, Wayne could have a scrap if he
Wayne
wants.
Lineker, if you're watching this.
He's probably not watching
Probably not watching this. Okay, I want to know, and I'm sure the audience want to know, how on earth do you come up with these jokes?
Honestly, ADHD. I can't sit still for more than 2 minutes. So when you said this will be on for an hour, I was like, good luck. But
we'll take a break then.
I think brain chemistry is just a bit off. Like, obviously myself, Jimmy, Dave, and Alex, we started OnlyComms, the brand, the meme page.
How did it start?
You know what? It was just more of, we all worked at the same company, all worked at Better Homes together. I was in recruitment. Jimmy and Dave were doing Emirates Living, working out in Motor City. Alex lives and breathes downtown. He was working in the Business Bay office. And as all real estate companies do and all workplaces do, we had a really big group chat of all the boys just taking the mick in there. And, we started creating these kind of memes. I was already doing memes. I was doing
on your page.
On a different page. It was like MMA based, and it did all right. It grew to like 20,000 followers, but I moved to Dubai and wasn't that much into the MMA as like watching it and stuff. So that kind of died out, fizzled out, but we were still creating stuff and just trying to make your mates laugh. That's what you want to, you want to make everyone chuckle. And that's exactly what we did. And then we were just like, well, why don't we just do it on the internet? Because it was open stuff. It wasn't necessarily particular about somebody. It was just more about everyone worked in real estate. Everyone was on 100% commission. Everyone was either doing really good or really bad, or everything in between. And we were like, let's just do it. So we created the page thinking nothing will really happen, and it got a little bit of traction, and then like overnight it got pretty good.
Do you remember the meme that took you like viral?
The meme that took us viral.
You got loads of followers after that one.
Do you know what? But that's the thing. It was always like a gradual thing. We noticed we got a lot of views on stories and stuff, and it was like the CEOs that were looking at it but not following us. So that was kind of our big thing. Like, they are talking about us, but any memes that go viral, usually the ones they're specific about somebody, and then they repost. Yeah, do you know? We did a post. It was before we even announced any fight nights or anything like that. We edited a picture, and it was I think it was Callum White and Carl Alsop, and we put it on the story like who'd win in a fight, and that kind of started the whole beef. Because obviously both based in Control Tower. Yeah, the Control Tower banter is always good.
I love the Control Tower. I've visited Control Tower, but I can just imagine the lift drama, the car park drama.
Well, you got Alsop and Better Homes, Ascot on one side. You've got White and Co. White and Co. on the other side, and they're all just going back and forth. You see each other in the smoking area, in the lobbies, all that stuff, Waitrose, and it just creates a.
It's banter for days.
Yeah. You love the brand that you work. You might not even like it. You kind of feel like you have to defend the brand, and and then you see people move from brand to brand, and it's quite fun because then they have to take back everything they said about one and then start shooting it at the other.
And so you have to have your finger quite firmly on the pulse to be able to come up with these memes. Have you got like moles in every brokerage, or are they just your friends giving you the tea?
Some friends, I wouldn't say moles, but some people just love to DM us stuff. Like, some people send us their own ideas as well. And like, they're usually,
Terrible.
Unique, I'll say, but yeah, no, terrible is a better word. They're terrible. Some people think, I'll send this, or they tell me, you should do a meme about this, and it's like, it's not really worth memeing. But it is, like you said, you have to have a thing on the pulse. We're basically a news outlet a lot of the time. We kind of drop news, and it's kind of the funniest thing that people come to us for information when we're just people that are just trying to make you laugh.
And it was originally supposed to be only comms, as in only communications, but now it's only sports.
Yeah, it was only commissions actually, but that's it was open to open to interpretation. People put only communications, but with the whole point of only comms is it was based around Dubai real estate. You're only on commission, and that's kind of the you're basically living on the breadline until you make it, and then when you make it, you're better than the rest.
Okay. Speaking of breadline, has anyone ever offered to pay you to make a meme?
Offered to, yes and no. We've been offered the opportunity to break news with a meme.
Okay. So like the Daily Mail of...
pretty much. They would, we had one company, I won't name it, but we had one company, they said, we've just hired a recruiter from another big company and it's big news. So you should really do a meme about it. But the stipulations are you send it to us first. You can't post it till Monday when we do the announcement and we get final sign off, and we have to have 2 or 3 options. And I just went, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like the whole point of the whole page is it's not meant to be structured. It's not meant to be abiding by the rules. Like if you want to do that, do your own press release. But it wasn't really worth a story anyway. But it's nice that they thought of us. But one thing that always stuck out was, there was a really bad situation with a guy from Allsop who got really ill in Bali. I don't know if you saw the story. No. He got really, really ill, and they were trying to get him basically
flown back out.
Yeah, flown back to the UK. And there was like a walk for him. Some of the guys, shout out Ryan, he arranged for a walk from, I think we're going to go Burj to Marina. They did a walk from Burj Khalifa to the Marina, and just to get a bit of awareness out. Joe Parker, who works at Allsop, she was tagging us and trying to get us to do stuff. So we like hosted a charity day for him and everything like that. That was really cool. So it was nice that we could actually kind of
involved in that way.
Yeah, because it was a serious situation, but it was within the real estate kind of sector, and that's where we've started, and we have grown out of there to other sectors. But I think we're always going to be that real estate meme page, exactly what you said earlier.
And honestly, I don't know how you get away with some of the stuff that you get away with.
Yeah, it's tongue in cheek. I think you have to hope that people see the funny side of it. If you don't, it's going to be. But the plus side of that is, if you nibble, it makes it 10 times worse, right? If we did comments, a joke, if we did a joke about somebody and they reshared it and they're like, "This isn't funny," or I find all that's going to happen is people are just going to laugh at you more. So it's like at school, right? If you get taken a mick for your new trainers, if you never wear the new trainers again, you're just going to get taken a mick out of more. So you've got to keep wearing them with pride. So you have to put a smile on your face.
So if OnlyComms picks on you, just go with the flow. It's all jokes.
We had someone I'll try and remember who it was, but they DM'd us before a message. I think it wasn't about them. It was about the company they work for. And again, it was very jokey, but they sent a message saying, I don't find this funny. 2 minutes later, they deleted the message and went, I don't want you to do a meme about me. So I'll delete the message. So we have some form of power. I think they fear us a little bit, which is fun.
Has anyone ever sent you like a takedown request or a cease and desist from lawyers or anything?
Yeah, one. I'll keep it anonymous, but he was getting, it was from a big company and they were trying to get him to do a fight on the fight show. And they sent us a clip of him like shadow boxing. He was obviously taking the mick. But we posted it up and we're like, should he fight for them? And he went, at first he was very funny, but he was like, haha lads, very funny. I'm not going to fight on it. And we didn't take the post down. And then like a day later, he was like, okay, you can take the post down now. I'm like, well, no. And then he was like, no, seriously, I'm not fighting. Take it down. Like, why are you doing this kind of thing? And in the end, I think we finally took it down because it was just like,
not worth the
just see the funny side of it. But it wasn't that. The meme didn't get that many likes. That's why.
Okay. All right. Well, back to Golden Nuggets.
There we are.
We want to talk about my show now, my gig, Be honest, how many episodes out of the 50 have you watched?
Mainly the ones where I know the people on the show.
How many?
So, well,
that you can remember?
Off the top of my head, obviously Dan had to watch that one.
Did we mention that you're Daniel Haddy's brother?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think
Daniel
you mentioned
Haddy's brother, episode 30 something.
You mentioned on his episode that he was Dom Haddy's brother, so I think that was the fun part. So obviously watched Dan, great episode. And then like all the guys, so obviously Lewis I watched Callum White's episode, Paul, watched a little bit of Miles Bush. I haven't got around to finishing it yet. It was coming off on my TikTok, but we'll get around to that.
I'm on TikTok. I keep forgetting about TikTok.
Yeah, you are on TikTok. So basically all the guys, Andrew Cummins, I saw that you did, Shervin. So people that I know, obviously I'm always going to give a bit of support. Rick Wayne as well, I know you've done so. These are, like I said, these are the pioneers of real estate and recruitment and all that stuff. So it's always good to hear their thoughts and stuff. And I see them on a professional stand, but I also do see them at our shows on a personal level. So, a lot of them I'd consider
And I think
mates.
I've managed to get their personal side out on this show rather than it just being like an official kind of episode. I do get a bit of banter. You get to see their personality too.
Well, they're all salespeople, right? So they've all got a bit of cheeky chappy to them, so they have to.
Yeah. And who would you like to see on the show that hasn't been on already, and why?
Who would I like to see on the show that hasn't already? From a broker standpoint,
I don't think I've had any brokers.
Yeah, I think they're the bread and butter, right? Those are the ones who are in the trenches.
And there's no shortage of them.
They're everywhere, mate.
I've had New York's #1 realtor on the show.
But have you had Arjan's #6 broker on the show? Think about that. So that's what you need.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. So Connor Manning from Better Homes, he's a Better Homes veteran now, area manager of Dubai Hills.
Okay.
He was, when I first moved here, he was at Better Homes. Since I've been here, he's still been at Better Homes. Definitely someone that I'd want to hear from. He's a very, very insightful guy. He's one of those guys where he builds a following amongst his team. Definitely someone to talk to. He's get a drink in him as well. He's even funnier. Aaron Jacob, a guy so he's just launched his own company, Jacob's Real Estate. He is somebody that I knew from back home. We used to work together at Fort Park. And then when I was a recruiter here at Better Homes, I got him a role at Better Homes. He moved over just as I left Better Homes to start all this. But he did very, very well, got into sales, and then he's just started his own brokerage. So, one of my recruits, I think I'm quite happy with that.
We're taking notes,
There you go. You mentioned Hugh earlier. I definitely want to
Hugh's coming on in September.
He's teasing, right?
He's just dragging his heels for a reason, but he's definitely committed to September. So he'll be on your screens then.
And then finally, not in real estate, but very much real estate adjacent, Grant Henderson for GC Partners. Okay. Grant, really cool guy. Again, he knows the who's who.
I've seen that.
He's a massive supporter of us as a group, but obviously GC Partners are huge for money transfer. Anyone over in Dubai, it doesn't matter real estate. Yeah, make sure you do it. So shout out Grant, shout out GC.
That reminds me on Gino Cross's episode.
I did watch Gino's as well. I know Gino.
Was like, he said something, I can't remember what it was, and I was like, oh, you're giving FX guy. So we should actually have an FX guy on the show.
100%. Grant's a really good guy.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to run down we might not get through all of them, but the key moments from from all of my episodes.
Let's do it.
And starting with my very first episode, which was, I don't know if he's on the live, Ainsley Duncombe of Off Market Listing, my first episode.
Yep.
And actually that one took quite a while to record because I wasn't, it was the first one I'd done. Now I'm just a pro at it. But and he also came back actually for the tell-all, the season 2 tell-all. So this is kind of like the 50 seasons tell-all, but we spoke about the dirtiest word in real estate. And at the time, we said it was cold calling.
Right.
Do you think there is a dirtier word in real estate these days?
Yeah, dirtiest word. One that offends most people is salary. They seem to, a lot of the people obviously want a salary, but a lot of the guys won't do it. Yeah. But like cold calling, well, the stigma of cold calling is always going to be there, right? But dirtier word, I don't know.
We upgraded it to kickback.
Yeah.
In a couple of episodes later, kickback's a nasty word.
Why is kickback a nasty word?
Because it's just dirty. It's like you're not getting a kickback. You're charging the buyer
Yeah.
more money to pay your commission, basically. It's not a kickback as in like, oh, if you get that, I'll pay you an extra. It's just, you're just overcharging your buyer so that you can get paid.
Yeah, I guess so. But I know I totally get it from, it's a double standard, right? Like if you've got a buyer who's willing to give you that,
then I guess it's worth it.
yeah,
But
like if you go for a cheeky punt and it pays off, then great. But other than that, I still say cold call is the highest one. I think a lot of people hate that word. They you see the anger in the face, and it's, it falls a lot on the real estate guys. But I think there's a lot of industries out there that are heavy reliant on cold calls, and when you get a call from them, it just ruins your day for a few seconds.
yeah, and you probably get about 10 phone calls a day.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and then the next episode I did with Christiana Maxian. She's the millionaire matchmaker. So not real estate at all, but matching people, which is the second, the two most important decisions you'll make in life, who you end up with and where you live, right? Yeah. So she was handling the who you end up with. And we got onto catfishing in real estate, as in like fake listings, bait listings. Any opinions on that?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, it's great because I meme it all the time. You see all these people, they put luxury, but I think they're definitely stamping down on it. It is horrible if you are if you're looking for a property and
wasting time.
Yeah, like obviously, my partner Lottie, I think she's watching.
Lottie, shout out Lottie.
Shout out Lottie. So, but when we were looking for places to move to, I'd be on Property Finder and I'd be a bit naive. I'd be like, oh, that's brilliant. She'd be like, fake listing, fake listing, fake. Like they can just spot it a mile off, and it is horrible. So, I know Property Finder, they're working very, very hard to kind of
clamp down.
Yeah, they have to, right? Because it's just going to saturate the portals, which in turn means you don't use them. So I think it's always going to be there, but you got to work hard on it. Okay. At the end of the day, you're just going to annoy your potential clients, right?
Yeah. It's not worth it. And you pointed out that everyone's talking about luxury. Well, in my episode with Khadija, which was the next one, we spoke about the overuse of the word luxury in real estate. Like everything's luxurious. There's not another word. What are your thoughts on that?
Again, I've memed so many people that have used luxury agent, but they're driving around in a Fiat Sequento. So, how can you be one or the other? I guess, look, everyone has to have a personal brand, and that's what it falls into. Exclusive, luxury. These are the
boring words, but they just keep getting recycled.
Exactly. I think some people are trying to be a little bit different with it now. First name that comes to mind is the Ranch Man. So from Strada, have you not heard of it? Have you not seen his videos? He ends it with it's like proper WWE 80s, like the Ranch Man's gonna do it for you.
Okay.
So again, it got me talking about it. I don't think I've actually seen many of his videos. Anyone that's seen, he's done really well. So I think they're trying to check it out. But you have to start coming up with different ones. And somebody who absolutely smash. Two people I said absolutely smash it. Two good friends of mine. Jordan Smith is Dubai Jord. Very, very simple. And then Joe McWilliam, just Talal Joe. He's obviously Dubai Jord focuses very much on like one palm especially, but he's a palm broker. Obviously Talal Joe, he's Talal Gaff. But they really established themselves in there. But you've got some people that are very, very specific to an area. It works like obviously Gary Allen, Mr. Dubai Hills. But that's kind of that new wave there. I think it has before been luxury broker, everything like that. What's the chap's name? Really, really nice guy, Mr. No Days Off. And then he did a post of him on holiday and I commented in that day off. But
brilliant.
Yeah, so that's what you got to do with it now. You've got to have your own personal brand with your professional side of it. However, I think stop calling yourself luxury. Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, everyone's luxury. Okay. And then Shervin came on from SG Recruitment, and we were speaking about do's and don'ts on your CV, switching agencies and so on. And we spoke about the worst thing you can do on an interview. His was be late, don't be late. What would your advice be? What's the worst thing you should do on an interview?
Worst thing you do on an interview, my personal opinion is if you don't come with your own questions that you want to know about, it's not going to, if you're just there to take information, obviously, like I said, I did recruitment. I'd go in when I ask someone, I'd give them all the information they need to know about the job. And then I'd ask them about their personal life, try and kind of crack that nut and see what they're about.
Yeah.
If they come back with nothing, it just tells me they're either not prepared or they're not probably interested. At the end of the day, what you said earlier about the two most important decisions you make are like long term is who you end up with and where you live. But short term, it's where you're going to work, what you're going to do to make money. And if you're not even bothered about asking, what can I earn from, what's the company going to do for me? How can I, what differentiates you from this brokerage or whatever it is?
It's not a good look.
You're probably not interested. And it's a little bit different. I suppose being late, it already sets that tone of you're not happy. And Shervin's 100% right with that. You can't be late. But it's more about when you're in that interview, now's your opportunity to kind of grill me. I like to be grilled in interviews. I always found it quite refreshing because I was like, okay, if you've gone to the effort of wanting to know this, you're probably interested.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was always a big positive for me.
Unless the question is, don't ask, what are your working hours?
What are your working hours? Are there any breaks in the summer for Ibiza was one I got. And I said, that's fine. I said, like, obviously holiday, that's discussion with your manager. How long are you looking to do? She went, season. I was like, and we were in like April. I was like, how long are you going to be out for Dubai for? So I found that a bit, that was a fun question.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. And then we had Caroline from the Bayou Academy. So she's like a really good educator, instructor, training real estate agents. And she was talking about the highlight on that show was the questions that buyers hate being asked.
Yeah.
Can you think of any?
The questions that buyers hate being asked
by real estate agents.
Well, obviously, with the training side of it, I've sat in the training for the better rooms, like Tanisha ran it and Rachel ran it. But you need to ask some questions to do it. But I guess it's just going a bit wayward with it. Of course, you need to know what's your budget, what areas are you looking in for, everything like that. But I guess the biggest question that a lot of brokers don't ask is, why do you want to do it? I saw a video that Gino Cross done. It's like, that's more, yes, it is more of an investment. But if you're willing to buy a property, you might want to live in it. But does it want to grow a portfolio? Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? If you and your newly married wife, if you guys want to buy a place, what about children? What that kind of stuff? I think a lot of the time, the questions that are going to annoy people are the bog standard, written out, rehearsed in training session questions. But the successful guys will go, all right, that's great, but why? Yeah. Why is this? Why do you want to live here? Our friend said it's a good opportunity to maybe flip in value. Why? That's what my personal opinion is. Obviously, I haven't been a broker, so get a couple of brokers on here to ask them.
I heard you were a little bit of a broker at some point, no? Back in the UK.
Oh, what? Yeah,
little birdie tells me.
But for about 6 months, and I was terrible at it. I wasn't terrible at the job. I was just 19 years old, and I'd gone from waking up at 11 a.m. to saying, right, you're going to work from 8 till 7. You got to shave every day. I was like, all right, corporal, calm down. And it was all of this stuff. But that was my first full-time job. And
me too at Townends. Shout out Catherine Durbin again.
She won't remember me. She'll obviously remember Dan, but she won't remember me. But thanks for the opportunity, Catherine. Sorry that I didn't live up to the hype. But that was another. It was like, obviously I went to the same primary school as Dan. I went to the same secondary school as Dan. Primary school where Dan was loved. I'd go in there and they were like, oh, you're Dan's brother. He's really nice. And then my first or second day of year 7, I was talking in class and the teacher turned around and went, right, is that how you're going to be? Name now. I said, oh, Dominic Haddy. And she went, you Dan Haddy's brother? I went, yeah. She just went, I feel like 4 years of this guy now. So I think, but then Catherine loved Dan. Phil DeBrass loved Dan. I think they had high hopes for me and I didn't live up to the expectations. But I'm going to put it down to youth. I'll put it down to youth.
All right, brilliant.
I wasn't destined to be a broker.
No. Side, we can swim along the sides of real estate. There's things to be done on the outskirts. All right, and then we took it to Fabrizia, who actually she was a broker then, Fabrizia Franceschetti, and now she's just. When she came on the show, she'd only been in real estate for less than a year,
right?
And she made $1 million in commission from leads from her TikTok and her Instagram. And now, fast forward 6 months later, 7 months, she's now opened up her own agency, Fabri Elite. Shout out to Fabrizia. I'm very proud of you.
Congratulations.
But she was kind of talking to us about how to make money through social media. And we had the argument about like whether it's TikTok or Instagram, like what content, from the content king, what content do you love and hate on socials? Let's talk about that.
I love, because it's so bad, I love it when companies trying to live up to a trend. they try and do these, whatever's kind of hot on TikTok right now, certain trend or certain sound or music, they always try and do a video to it. Usually it's like startup companies that are trying to get their name out there, and I always find that hilarious. On the flip side, there are some companies that are smashing it on social. Strada, for example, they do really, really good content. I love
Strada stuff. Shout out Gino and team.
Yeah, shout out to Gino and the guy, and Gary and the guys.
Gary,
But that's the stuff where if you watch it and you kind of see that there has been effort put into it, and there's actually a message behind it. I think some people, you feel like now it's a lot of pressure to do it. Again, I'll go back to somebody like Jord. He's always very frequent on it, but he also shows a lot of his personal life in there. Like he's a big MMA fan, everything like that. So that's something that you can relate to as well. Somebody who's doing very, very well on socials and TikToks and stuff that are actually getting leads, fantastic. But you can see when it's a bit fake. You can see when somebody's maybe bought followers, recycled.
There's a lot of follower buying. I want to talk about that actually.
Yeah, a lot of follower buy-ins, and we've been offered that stuff before because it's easy, but it's bollocks at the end of the day.
When you look at their real views or their engagement or their like, that's how you can tell.
Yeah, massively. I've seen some with like 16, 20,000 followers and the like views and stuff are like 30. So like, the correlation's not there. So social media, obviously I'm a big advocate of social media, but I am a dependent on it at the end of the day. So I need to, that's why we kind of branched out into other stuff. Social media is there today. Will it be there tomorrow? Yeah, of course. But in what format? So you got to roll with it. I think TikTok's something that I need to focus a lot more on from an OnlyComms standpoint, only sports standpoint. Yeah, but we're heavily on Instagram. If Instagram shuts down tomorrow, we're gone. But in terms of social media, love it. Think you can get some great leads from it. Think you can get some really good content and insight in there. However, there are some people that are absolutely terrible on there. So
we've got a question in the live. What do you think about recruitment posts on LinkedIn? Do you think it's beneficial, or do you think brokers find it annoying?
Posts or messages?
Posts, recruitment posts on LinkedIn.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh God. So that's a recycle thing. And again, no hate to recruiters. They've got to get their brand out there. Some of the recruiters out there are phenomenal. Like Jodie, who I used to work with Banter, she's mustard on social media. She's really, really good on it. Others, not so good. It's just the one thing, and I've openly memed about it because I had to do it back in the day. You're like, oh, what are the top points of learning? Do you want to have tax-free earnings? Do you want to have all this? And it just like, scroll, you see it all, everyone do it. But the reason someone like Jodie's so good is because she, again, puts a personal insight into your life. It's like, I came to buy, I've achieved this. She came from a financial background and moved into recruitment. She's done very, very well out of it. So these kind of things the posts are very repetitive, and it probably does put the brokers off. They probably see it and gone, you're just doing the same thing. But you got to get content out there. You can't just be idle by. You've got to be someone who's willing to put yourself out there, be presentable, be personable. So it's a double-edged sword, I'd say. Thank you. I feel sorry for the recruiters because I know they're not, they have to do it, but at the same time,
they need to be doing it. And,
do some memes.
Get on the memes.
Yeah.
Make it funny, make it entertaining. And actually, Alessia said that on Alessia Shaglova from Dasher. She said that on her episode where she was like, put funny stuff on LinkedIn. And I was like, no, that's not the place for it. LinkedIn is like serious. And she was like, imagine how you're scrolling through boring post, and then a funny meme or a funny reel. Like it just kind of breaks up the...
And you get the traction because you'll get some 50-year-old geezer say, this isn't appropriate for LinkedIn. Well, cheers for the traction there, mate. So it works out quite well. Got to be a bit controversial. Leslie's very good at that. I think she's posted stuff in the past, and it has been on LinkedIn. People have probably gone, I don't want to see this on LinkedIn. But you did see it on LinkedIn because you commented. So cheers. And you've just had all your followers see it as well. So cheers, mate.
Smart move. All right. And then we had Majdel Musa, where we talked everything legal. And we talked about some of the clauses that you see in employment contracts.
Yeah.
What's the scammiest clause you've seen in an employment contract?
Honestly, and like I guess, it covers your own back, but training fees. That's more in real estate. If you leave within X amount of time, you owe us X amount of money for the training we gave you. But it's like, I know how much you're paying your trainer, and I don't see what the outsource is. But again, it's covering your own back. And the data is there to be moved around, and that's why a lot of data is
It's not there
saturated.
to be moved around.
It is. It's all saturated, right? It's all everyone's calling the same people. There's only so many villas in so many areas, but yeah, probably the training cost. And you know, we've had it recently. Of course, Only Sports isn't our only thing. We do have DSR, which is an arm of recruitment. You know, Tamara is absolutely smashing it. Alex, who we've just brought on, she's doing very, very well already. But we've spoken to people, and they're like, if I leave this job, they're going to charge me 6, 7, 8 grand. It's like they're going to put a court case on me. They're going to put a visa ban on me. So if you're brand new to Dubai, and you know it's fearful. Of course it is. Like I just want to make money, but I'm going to end up owing money.
Yeah.
It's a thin line. However, you know there are laws in place where technically your new employer should potentially pay for that. But I won't go down that rabbit hole right now.
Not all of it's.
But yeah, that's the thing where I see it from just a personal level. You see these people and they're like terrified. They're like, I'm going to get thrown in jail because I want to leave a job. Imagine doing that in the UK. It just doesn't work. So,
okay. Right. And then we had Eamon from Override. Shout out to Eamon. We talk about AI in real estate. He said, think of AI as a 3-legged tripod. That made me laugh. I
don't get it. Why like a what?
He was like, one leg
Does
is...
it mean prongs?
It was like one leg is machine learning, one leg is, I can't remember what the other two were, but he was like, 3-legged tripod.
Did you nickname him Tripod after?
No, I did not. He's, no, I'd actually... Right. Can robots take over the role of a real estate agent?
Robots work in the real estate industry, and industry, and they work in the HR department.
Okay. Oh, shots fired.
I mean that as a compliment. They are bulletproof. Like, you know, you try and get information. Oh, when am I getting this? When am I getting that? Robot response. They are very, very good with it. Do
you remember that? What was that show where it was like, computer says
no? Little Britain. Yeah, that is HR in Dubai. They are loyal as heck. So they're not going to throw anyone under the bus. I need to talk to him. No. All right. When's he in the office? He's here right now. He's just not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
So that's something that I found. But in terms of AI, ChatGPT. Look, AI is something that, again, going nowhere. Really, really can be beneficial. Can be also be detrimental. Yeah, it's for the brokers to decide on that. But in terms of, again, helping them with their listings, with portals, everything like that, AI is probably going to help them long term. You either go into it or you try and rebel against it, but there's no
But real estate agent jobs are safe.
Yeah, you need that personable touch, I'd say, if it's all done. But yeah, there are some companies and portals out there that are heavily relying on AI. But when, you know, shit hits the fan and you need to speak to somebody personal, that's where it takes over, right?
Right. And then we had Joe from Happy Tenant. We spoke about property management. I haven't seen any memes about property management, actually. Not funny, is it?
Yeah, it's very...
boring.
Yeah. It's not... It's what do you make a joke about, right? You try. I think we've tried in the past, but yeah, you know... Conveyancing memes, which I never do because obviously I've never had to deal with a conveyancer. My sister-in-law Lauren, who was mentioned on Dan's show, she owns a conveyancing company. We've worked with conveyancing companies, and so when there's a meme done about conveyancing by Dave or Jimmy or Alex, who's previously worked there, she gets really annoyed at me. So that's fun, even though it goes right over my head. So, but yeah, property management memes. I'll try and work one out today. We'll see what we can do.
All right, fine. And then, do you want a break? Do you need a...
No?
Okay. Then you had Waleed from Keeper, who actually, he's also a bit of a boxer.
Yeah. He's a judge. He was a judge on the show.
On the first show, yeah. Fight night. So that was... so his show, we were talking about short-term rentals versus long-term rentals, giving agents advice on how to calculate them. Because everyone at that time was saying, go for short-term rentals. It's 30% higher returns.
Yeah.
And then he actually said on the show, depending on where you are, it might work out less than long-term rentals. So that was an eye-opener. But he straight out called cold calling harassment. He was just like, shot it down, completely harassment. We've already spoken about harassment, so we can move on from that. Then we had Yulia from ThinkProp talk about WhatsApp chat etiquette. So have you got any rules yourself on voice notes, on WhatsApp do's and don'ts?
yeah, if someone sends me a voice note over about 45 seconds, I reply, I'm not going to listen to this.
Right. So that's your limit. Because I said my limit was 1 minute. I don't want to hear longer than a...
Yeah, I got sent one the other day. I saw it said 4 minutes and 15 seconds. And I knew I needed to listen to it.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is going to be the longest 4 minutes, 15 seconds of my life.
But yet you'll listen to a podcast for 20 minutes.
That's my choice. But if someone throws a voice note down my throat, it is horrible.
Yeah.
So, but I probably send quite long voice notes. Again, when I'm talking, I'll ramble and stuff like that. So it's it's ironic that I don't like voice notes.
But
I'll
send
send
them
all the time, yeah.
Okay. And then we had Jean from Property Monitor talking about daily data habits. He said each agent should be spending 15 minutes a day going through the data in their niche. But we had a conversation about agents and you'll be familiar with this, calculating your commission before the deal is done.
We love that. That's a fun, when you've already spent the commission,
You've
right?
spent it, not just calculated it, you've actually spent it.
And then some, 'cause you're like, I'm on a roll now. I've just done a great deal. I'm going to get another great deal. So yeah, you've seen that in the past, but I think that's just embodied in humans. You know you're going to get the money, but anything can happen. You might not.
Okay. And then we had Tony and Alina from Zone In Media talking about social media accounts. First, one of the topics was having a separate social media account. And I had this conversation as well with Zaina Hori. Mm-hmm. She was like, why have you got, you go into real estate, you've already got an Instagram account. Why set up a fresh real estate account? You're just one person.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Yeah, I agree. I did it when I first joined, when I first moved to Dubai. I created a separate one. I was like,
because you think that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I stuck to it for a little bit, but you'll see a lot of these people, they'll put on their personal bio, professional account, and you go on it and, it's not had a post in the last one because it just, it's hard. The amount of accounts I've got on my Instagram is just ridiculous, from OnlyComms, personal, Only Sports, DSR, preview events, all of them are they're all there. We've said football team as well. It's just mental. So just adopt it all, put it onto one account. I agree is probably the strongest way now. Because like I said before, that personable touch.
You want to see it, yeah.
Yeah. Look, if you don't want to have something, shown on there, if you're out with friends or you're on holiday with your partner or anything like that, then put it on close friends.
Exactly,
but don't be afraid to let people see who you are.
So we've got third person telling you to merge or consolidate your real estate account with your personal account.
Yeah, because your real estate account is going to be what? Listings, just sold, or just rented.
Or join me on this tour and
just put it in one. Say, I'm going to do this viewing. I've got an open house. I'm going to the pub with my missus after. This is my life.
Yeah.
I'm just like you. Except I don't get a salary.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay. And then the next few episodes were with Christopher Watkin. I don't know if you remember him from the UK. No. So I did a little UK series with Christopher Watkins versus Golden Nuggets. And it was a while back when you were an agent in the UK, but are there any stark differences you remember apart from salary?
Yeah.
Any stark differences between UK and UAE?
Well, the biggest one is when I worked in the UK, you get given listings, right? I used to sit down on a morning, they had a department who got the listings for you, essentially.
That's what your manager's supposed to do, get you listings, and you just deal with the inquiries.
Yeah, let's go, right, guys, new listing on, this is what, go get it. And I think obviously the percentage is fragment of what you can get over here. So that's the biggest one.
Yeah.
I think company hopping's a lot bigger in the UAE than it is in the UK because, again, it's a little bit more of a headache to leave a job in the UK. Got to give your notice, maybe you serve your notice, maybe you don't, get your P45, blah, 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 all that stuff. And the thing about real estate in the UK as well, being a real estate agent or a estate agent, it's called over there, is it's probably hard to interview because they're very on you as well. Like, where are you? What are you doing? All this stuff. Whereas in Dubai,
because they're paying you a basic salary.
Yeah, they're like,
they own you to some
degree.
degree.
You've got to work this amount of hours.
You've got to look like
what
this.
Are you doing?
You've got to talk like this.
Exactly. Like, if you go leafleting, how many leaflets did you drop? I know Dan never used to leaflet. He used to chuck it in the river and go for a calf.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, so I learned that from him. But that is something where, again, you get a lot more freedom over here because, like you said, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
You do get a high commission, though. So, if they said go back to UK and have a 12K basic, I think I was on, or like 10K, and you could
And
earn.
what do you get? 10%. You get 10%, wasn't it?
I think it varied depending on the management level, right? You can get 8, 10 to 15 or 12. So but I was only doing leasing, so letting. So, it wasn't big money, but that's the biggest difference I'd say is the getting the listings, right? You're a realtor over here. You are a real estate agent, whereas in the UK you are an estate agent.
Yeah. Okay. And then we had Michael Walters, Dr. Michael Walters, where we did a COP28 special on sustainability in real estate. And it was a very eco-friendly episode. I didn't really know much about it. COP28's done. I mean, I really like Dr. Michael. Yeah. And he's got a book out, Real Estate Guide to the Dubai Real Estate Guide. Grab it. It's on, I think I've even got a discount code for that book. So I'll put the discount code in the comments below. Do be sure to send that to me, Silvia. Thank you. I have my own copy. He gave me a copy on it. I have not opened it. I have not read it. And then we did Brett from Husby, which is kind of like, Husby is like the Silicon Valley of real estate. Yeah. What are your thoughts? Any opinions on prop tech?
So we've not worked with Husby. Husby, the only association we've had with Husby is they took part in our football tournament. I knew a couple of guys that worked there and still work there. So nothing bad to say out there. I know like their headcount is growing massively. Yeah. But we've worked a lot closer with Holo, which are a direct competitor of Husby. They were a sponsor on Fight Night 3, met with the guys. They've been in Dubai a long time. Really, really cool guys. And the ideas that they have, and it's clearly getting a lot of eyes on it. They were talking about their next round of, seed investment. They're just growing massively. They're in Saudi now. So my views on prop tech is if you don't know about it, you're going to learn a lot about it. So, if you said to me about these kind of companies now, I can give you what I know from a personal level just by meeting the people, but they are obviously doing something right.
Yeah. So and raising shitloads of money.
Yeah, Jesus, I need to get a leaf out of their book.
Right. And then we went to Vision Tower to see Rick Wayne at Better Homes. And that was our first off-site shoot. Yeah. We went to his office. And we spoke about the well-trodden path from the UK to the UAE. And he said he regretted not coming out here sooner. I think we all regret not coming out here sooner.
Yeah, look, I moved out here when I was 28. I think Rick moved here when he was 63. So look, it just happens. But the time, it's all about timing at the end of the day. But no, Rick's a really good guy. Obviously, I worked for him. Yeah. He was my boss at the end of the day. And he was, when I told him I was leaving, he was very supportive of it. He's come to the events and stuff, but...
I would have nearly been your boss, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, because I was interviewed for that role like 3 months before Rick was. But
really?
I was the first person to be interviewed for that role.
You'd have been Dan's boss as well then.
Yeah.
Partner.
That would have been hilarious. Okay, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And Rick, I've said before, like Connor lives and breathes Better Homes. Rick's the same. They... they're very, very loyal to their brand and they've established themselves in the market very, very well, and personally.
Yeah. And what would you say to a British agent who's over in the UK now, toying with the idea of coming to Dubai?
Get into shape because only comes Fight Night 5, September 13th at Atlantis The Royal.
Oh, what a plug.
That was a plug, wasn't it? What would I say? Like, just be, I said the same thing when I was a recruiter, just be prepared to be happy, be prepared to be lonely, be prepared to be hungry, both, with that drive and actual hunger, because there's going to be times where you probably can't afford food. Have a bit of backing, but all in all, just take it in your stride. Okay. Like, learn from the people around you. And if somebody's not willing to give you time, don't beg them for the time. If there's a big agent and they're Billy Big Bollocks and they don't want to help you out, find someone who will.
Yeah, and it's easy to switch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, and then we went all the way to Abu Dhabi to interview Kika from MD Real Estate and Voyage Holiday Homes. And there we spoke about, one of the key moments was talking about people resigning over email.
Right.
And we were like, no, you've got to have that conversation, especially if you've been at a company for a few years. Yeah. You should have that conversation face to face with your manager. Any opinions?
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's horrible because it feels like you're betraying this company for some reason or whatever. But you obviously have to put it in writing eventually. But you'd voice your concerns because at the end of the day, if you've already made your mind up, it's probably been a month or so in the make, unless there's been a big bust up. But yeah, just go in there and just say, look, I'm not
Have a
happy.
word,
Yeah, I'm probably gonna leave or look for new opportunities and see how they react. Or if you've already made your decision, just go in there, be completely straight to the point. Like, thank you for your time. I've made a decision for my own personal career. This is what I'm doing, kind of thing. I think, it's a get out of jail free card if you send an email, or some people just don't show up. If they're a broker, they just won't show up again.
True.
I've heard stories of people just flying home and not telling their company that they've left.
Wrong. It's just wrong. Okay.
Yeah, it's backhanded.
And then we went to One Palm with Callum from White & Co. And we had quite a long conversation about culture, company culture. He said, culture eats strategy alive. You can't throw money at it. Like, it comes from the top. And one of my favorite lines from the entire show came out of that. He said, we make brokers, not tour guides, or something like that.
Right. We make brokers, not tour guides.
Or it was like, we're building brokers, not tour guides.
Okay.
Something like that.
He definitely rehearsed that line in the mirror.
Do you know
before.
what, Callum? Can I just say, out of all my guests, he was the most best spoken.
Yeah.
Very. You ask him a question, and he doesn't pause. He very articulate.
Yeah.
And everything just flowed.
Well, when you hear, when you get told, when you say the word Scottish, you think articulate. So that's what Callum is. I like Callum a lot. He is like exactly that culture thing. He is, from a personal level, I know him I'd say quite well. I know who he is, and obviously see each other, have a chat and stuff. Like
he has featured on the page several times.
Yes, several times, and he always does it in good jest. I said my partner Lottie, she used to work for Callum, and she went there, she worked for a company before that, cowboy show. Never gave her a visa. She was, I won't say the number, but she was quite heavily on a was it overstay fines?
Oh wow.
Callum covered it all. He brought her on board. She was still new to Dubai in the industry. He was like, I want to give you the opportunity. So I'll always be forever grateful to Callum for doing that. Really good guy. Like you said, he's trying to implement a lot of stuff. I know I'm very good friends with a lot of White & Co. brokers, and no one has anything bad to say about him.
Shout out to Callum and the White & Co team.
Put someone in for Fight Night 5. I'm going to keep going to that well.
And then we went to New York with Bianca, who was she's
How'd
a
you
number
expense
one.
that stay then? Eh?
Actually, she came here and she just sat there. But but it was our first edition of Golden Nuggets Gone Global.
Yeah.
And she was the star of the #1 show, Selling the Hamptons. It's like a Netflix show or something.
I watched, that was the only one I've seen.
Selling the Hamptons.
Yeah, I think so.
She was in it, Bianca D'Alessio. And she was talking about algorithms over egotism, just effing post it.
Yeah.
So. And I think
some people they'll post at a certain time.
Yeah,
so
procrastinate and rewatch a story 20 times. And she was just just get it out there.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm big. I just post it. That's why you'll see a lot of spelling and grammar mistakes.
Yeah,
and
I do pick up on that.
You get really excited. I bet it gives some people just anger. But
how many times do you have to what's your approval process for your memes? Do 2 people at least have to sign off on it, or is it just whoever thinks?
It's the dumbest way. We send it into there's a group chat of just me, Jimmy, Dave and Alex. We send it in and we say smash or pass. And
smash or pass, okay.
1 S. You just put, we just that lazy now, we put S or P. And if something, you get 1 S and then you just post it.
Okay.
It's sometimes you don't. Sometimes if it's like I said, hot topic, you just post it in there. That's why some memes don't do well.
Okay.
But but it's that simple. Yeah, we don't think about algorithms, don't think about timings. Or
you just post it when it's ready.
Yeah. You get excited, you write the meme out, you make mistakes, you post it anyway, and you stick by it.
And then we had Alessia from Dasha, the real estate guru, she got 27 million views on one of her TikToks, and I know you want to try and get your TikTok going. But she gave us a lesson on how to go viral. So what's been your most viral meme to date? Do you remember which one?
Most
which one's
viral.
the best performing?
The one that got the best performing, it's got nothing to do with real estate. It was about the UFC in Abu Dhabi. It just got basically just British. It was more British culture. like I said, you're in Abu Dhabi, you're watching it, but there's just one geezer who's just, battered or whatever. Another one that Dave did was about like Jamira Jane's, like, I think it was, just as the temperature drops, all the Jamira Janes on Kite Beach getting spiced lattes or something like that. So that done really well. But a lot of the ones that we've done before are just a little bit controversial. Like I said, you go after, don't go after, but you mention someone in particular and it just blows up. Yeah, the ones that we did about Ryan Hudson joining White & Co. And then the ones we did about Ryan Hudson leaving White & Co. They did pretty well because it was on the button, it was tongue in cheek, and you just had to make jokes about it.
And sometimes it's just about timing as well.
Yeah.
It's got to be, it's the right time.
We always do any big show that we do, we always do like a chain of memes after the football ones. I did it like the football festival, it was in February, it finished about, 9 o'clock at night, and then the after party and everything, I was already doing memes about it.
Yeah.
The North versus South game, actually, that was a one-off thing we did last December. All that we did it from, I think, like Nottingham down was South, anything above was North, and we had Rob Kempton as the manager of North. We had Simon Constant of Allsop also. They sit next to each other. He was manager of South. A lot of hostility, a lot of stuff like that. And again,
just jokes.
Yeah, the memes we did about it just kept people, to keep people smiling.
I love the one about the ice bucket. Broker Connector, Carl at Broker Connector.
Yeah.
that made me chuckle.
Well, yeah, we've gone after Broker Connector a little bit lately, and I think it's all in good jest. Kyle is he definitely laughs with it, so it's quite fun.
All right, and then we had Dunya from EXP talking about EXP Realty. It's kind of being your own boss in the metaverse, work from anywhere, no clocking in, no clocking out. Do you know much about these models?
No, again, like. We've across our brands, we've got guys working with us. We're very flexible with it, but at the end of the day, in real estate, you need to be, foot on the ground. You need to be there. So I think for some aspects, yeah, absolutely. And you see these people in marketing, as digital marketing, and I work from my laptop 15 minutes a day. And it's like good life, but in terms of real estate or whatever, be there.
Yeah. Well, actually, got what's his name, Uncle Peter Rollins,
right?
ex-MD of Foxtons and ex-CEO of Marsh & Parsons. He was like, "What's this work from home ridiculousness?"
Yeah, I saw him. He was like, he was chatting about like his kids' friends that do it. Or
they
something
don't do
like
any
that.
work on a Friday or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
but I worked from home for. I worked in tech sales back in the UK just when COVID hit. A great company called Rackspace, and I loved going into work because it was an American company, and like in America they took over an old university, an old college, and that was their campus, and we had the same. We had 3 buildings, gym, free cereal and fruit. I thought I've hit gold here, so I was loving it. And then when you work from home, it's hard to stay motivated. So I completely get it, because I know personally, if I work from home all day every day, if I wasn't out doing meetings and stuff,
it'd do your head in.
Yeah, of course.
We had Gino Cross from Strada, giving him a shout out already, but what I love about him is he records people that are cold calling him. I live for those reels where he's like, what are you calling for? But yeah, so we spoke about horrendous cold calls, whether you earn less as a sales manager. Like, is it like in the UK, of course, the higher up you go, the more you earn. But here, it's not so. And you're in recruitment, so kind of.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like you earn this insane amount of money, potentially as a broker. Then you go up to a sales manager where you're kind of capped. You're working on, you're relying on other people.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, a good broker is quite self-sufficient, right? So relying on another person is a headache. So you kind of then coast, and then you go from the next step, where you're director or
owner.
Yeah, or owner, right? And that's when you could potentially start making big money again. So you do it because they don't want the progression, but 9 times out of 10 people say, I just want to be a broker, and that'd be that.
And without the headache of running a team. Okay, and then we had Sharif from Property Finder. He's a CRO. We spoke about removing bait listings that are no longer available. And he said there's still a lot of room for more agents in, because he was looking at the call stats.
Yeah.
Loads of calls drop off. Lots of people don't get responded to, and that tells him there is space. We think, there's 19,000 agents now. How many? Maybe it's 21,000 now, but there's still space for more.
About 12 of them that are good, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
no,
true.
it's true. Yeah. I couldn't tell you that. Like that's obviously his opinion, because he sees the data, and being data driven probably brings a lot of facts to it. Is there room for more agents? Absolutely. There's
Yeah.
always room for more opportunity. People say Dubai real estate saturated. It's not saturated. It's just got a lot of agents there covering the same area. So it's just dog eat dog.
And well, as the areas grow, as we
Yeah.
increase in areas and projects and communities, we
You
need
see some
more
new launches that
specialists.
look insane.
Yeah.
They need new people running it.
Okay. And then we had Lewis, which was one of the most watched episodes, actually. And we spoke about Allsop being one of the most, he said it was the most poached company in Dubai. 90, and he made a claim that he reckons 98% of the real estate brokerages in Dubai do not have the infrastructure to upskill agents to the level that they need to be. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably actually. I think there is like, there is the tip, which are these, just a handful of companies. Then you've got some below that are on the cusp of, being in that. And then you've got, the companies that it's probably just one guy or one girl who started a company and said, I did pretty good in thingy, or they see a market in it, all of that stuff that aren't going to put in the work. I've seen startups where they are putting in the work there. They want to really grow the company. Like Novi Properties comes to mind.
Yeah.
I
love their page and
do you know what? But the office is amazing. They try and do different kind of things for their staff, and they're really, really caring for it. They make sure everyone gets an invite to our events. So someone like that is amazing. Then you've got those companies that have been around for a while now, and they are strongly established in the market. The Trio Homes comes to mind, Williams, Paragon, these kind of people. And then you've got the top tier, the Allsops, the Better Homes, the House and House. In terms of how many companies there are compared to the learning and stuff, yeah, absolutely. It's probably a lot of companies that haven't got the infrastructure.
Not set up for it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lottie. She's just sent a message saying, "How did you get him to sit still for so long?"
You not see my feet just tapping under the camera.
All right, we did take a little break, but yeah. And then we had Gigi Benitez from Benitez International, who is geared up for the flood of Americans that are coming to Dubai. You got any shit to talk about the US?
Never been.
Labour are in today. Labour won the general election, and that's...
Keir, you know what I find Keir, our new Prime Minister, he kind of looks like a broker. He looks like he does like old school palm or something like that.
Old school palm.
That's what I would say he looks like. So
yeah.
But yeah, Labour are in for the
Which
first time.
Which probably means the other one's going to get in November in the US.
I want him to.
Well, they're all moving here, put it that way. So are we ready for a bunch of Americans and American brokers?
Hope so. Okay. Makes my life a lot easier with the memes.
More content. All right.
Yeah, exactly. They're over the top. But the beauty of Dubai is it's a hub of international personalities and nationalities, right? So that's going to be a fun side of it. Do they come over? Yeah. I already saw brokers from the UK already posting today, like Labour's in, move now, invest in the UK, invest in the UAE now.
There's always got to be a spin, yeah,
of course. And it's like I said, this is like what we said earlier about the memes. If you're on the ball really quickly, then do it.
Yeah, and then we had Nima from House Hunters talking about all things Ras Al Khaimah. You're going to wait for RAC to open up a casino. You're going to that'll be Fight Night 6.
Yeah, well, I don't know when it opens up in a couple of years. Maybe we'll have a night before that, but definitely the casinos is somewhere where we wanna get into.
And then we had your brother Dan on the show, and he mentioned, and I'm glad I've got you on the show. He mentioned an incident at one of these fight nights, but he didn't go into detail.
Yeah,
what's that all about?
So he come to. So like I said, we've got OnlyComms boxing, we've got Dabber as well, which is more amateur. Because one thing we want to do is grow the grassroots of sport. That's why, and I'll get into it a little bit later, we're partnering with a really, really good brand to do that. So I was boxing on the show, and at the end of each round, obviously you're meant to stop punching each other in the face. Twice my opponent hit me after the bell. First one I let it go. My adrenaline was going in. The final round he hit me, and after the bell, and I kicked off with him in his court. Like, it was all getting a bit heated in the thing, and Dan went into brother mode. He was jumping in. It made me kind of snap out of it and calm him down. But it was just...
Did he throw a punch as well?
No, he stayed out of the ring. But yeah, he was definitely heated. That was... we called it brotherly love, but I think it was just an opportunity for him to shout at somebody.
Yeah.
He loves doing that.
Okay, well, thanks for spilling the tea on that. And then we had Lynette Sacchetto, Data Queen of Dubai, on founder of Real Trust. She gave us the heads up that we moved from a seller's market now to a buyer's market. What's your prediction?
Yeah.
Seeing as you got your fingers on the pulse.
Yeah, well, I just ask people that stuff. Is it seller's market? Is it buyer market? Everyone's got an opinion.
Yeah.
Everyone's got an opinion on it. So
What are you hearing on the streets now?
Yeah, it's
Is
definitely
it dead
moving.
or dying?
No, it's never dying. But I think, look, the sellers right now, they are, how do I put it? You know, they're on the pulse. They are in a position right now where it probably is going to be a buyer's market very, very soon. But, you know, we've seen dips in all, you know, all property markets across the world. UK, you know, they all say the trend is it follows the London pricing, right? So it's going to slowly seep up. In the UAE, it's probably no different.
We shall see. Okay. All right. And then we had Omar from Keeper. So part 2. So I've had 2 brands on twice. Husby and Keeper have been on twice.
Yeah.
And then we'll say Haddy family have been on twice now.
Take that, Carl Allsop, I beat you.
Oh, yeah, because we've had, hold on, Carl's brother. So we need Carl Allsop on the show to even things out. And so
Are there any other, there've got to be some brothers and stuff. Yeah, Matty and Mikey Wilson for Allsop, they are.
Oh, there's another brother duo in Allsop.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're Scousers, so you don't need them on this.
Oh, I love a Scouse.
They all sound the same.
Yeah. What's the one from?
To be fair, one of our biz partner, Jackie's a Scouse. I do love Scouse. They're a good laugh.
And then, so they just raised another $1 squillion. You should get them to you strike while it's hot. They should sponsor one of your fight night.
Who, Keeper?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to come
just raised 34 million.
We might as well go full circle. They were the first show. Why not do the last show?
Exactly.
So, Omar, expect a DM from me very soon.
Cool. And then we had Nathan Kearney from Executive Search.
Yeah.
So another recruitment episode. And he coined the phrase mind the gap. I love that. It's like all the touch points at which you could, a deal falls through or drops through the gap. Any words of wisdom on that?
Yeah, Nathan's a known name in the recruit. I think in terms of recruitment in Dubai, real estate, for example, but there's a handful of names that kind of pop up, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And I get that. You think the deal's done. It's like what you said earlier about you spend your commission when it's already done. For a recruiter, you know, when they've signed a deal, when they've signed the contract,
they think it's done.
The offer, they think, I don't really have to deal with it anymore. Let's look at the next one. So definitely nurture all the way through, especially if you're bringing people over internationally.
Yeah.
Talk to them beforehand, a couple of weeks before, how are you feeling about the move, got everything sorted, you know, try and when they land, catch a coffee with them.
Yeah.
Certain people go the extra mile, and that's why they're very, very good at what they do.
Good advice. And then we had a real estate legend, Andrew Cummings from Savills, who just got announced as one of 29 real estate legends awarded by Arabian Business. And he was talking about not being on TikTok because he'd end up dancing and making a fool of himself. But he also made a point like, what's your why on social media? Like, you have to be adding value. You know, it's no good just taking these fancy videos in a beautiful villa. What is your why? What are you coming here to say? So, and we've spoken about social media quite a bit. What's your value add, would you say? With what you do, only sports, only comms, what's your value add?
Only comms is, it's on the button. Only comms is just to be a little bit cheeky, a little bit controversial, but also we use it as a, marketing tool for our events. You know, we pit people up and we do stuff like that. Only sports, our why is basically we want to be the media hub of sport and media in the UAE. You know, the plans that we're doing right now, the people that we're going to be partnering with, and, the vision that we have, sky's the limit for us. We want to be essentially, the Barstool Sports of the UAE. And as more sport comes to not just UAE, but the GCC, it's going to be, massive. We were at the TK fight show, so it's Social Knockout 3 this Saturday at Coca-Cola Arena. Tam, really, really good guy. He's actually the guy that we're talking to about collaborating on some stuff and some shows. We were at the open workout yesterday, so I got some interviews with like Darren Till, Salt Pappy, all of these superstars in their own right, and the big followings. We cut it, edit it, put it straight onto our team. We've got a really good team for that. Put it straight onto the social media. that's what we want to be. We want to be reviewing stuff. We want to be pundits. We want to be, people that believe they know it all when they don't.
Yeah.
That's what we can be with Only Sports. We don't just want to do our own shows. We want to be a part of this massive movement that is the GCC.
Brilliant. Well, I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Right, we're nearly at the end. I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 episodes.
Let's do it.
We had Paul at Aqua. He was the biggest dark horse.
Yeah.
He was like an old school garage raver, and he had nightclubs in London, Red Essex. And,
Pavlos.
yeah, Pavlos. But so the standout for me there, apart from kind of
Skeletons in that closet, I'm telling you now.
the skeletons in that closet, he was saying, if I find out what one of my agents says, I've left the keys at reception, let yourself in, he'd fire him.
Yeah, someone says that, you just, why am I paying you? I'm not even going to pay you commission. What you got?
Yeah,
like you're just
can't
doing
even
the job
turn
for-
up.
Yeah, just have a bit of If you were in a restaurant and the waiter said, "Oh yeah, no, food's in the back, go yourself," like, what's that about?
Yeah,
no. Have a bit of pride in your work.
Turn up for the viewing.
Turn up.
Okay, and then we had Miles Bush from Phoenix Homes, and he made a claim. And he was very vocal about this. Most brokers in Dubai are getting ripped off on the 50-50 model, saying it's outdated.
That's the guy who owns a company that doesn't offer 50-50, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Right. 80-20.
Yeah, there you go. But you know what? They've got some good brokers there. I know they do. They're doing very well. Every company's different. I guess for him, they're a lot more self-reliant. They're like, come in, pay your dues and we'll give you 80%. That definitely works for some brokers. Other brokers, they're willing to give up that, 30% so that they can get training, they can get leads, they can get all that stuff. Every company is different. Every company is different. Every person that comes to Dubai is different. They're happy with 50-50 because it means they're going to get a lot more support. Yeah. But then they'll grow into a position where they're getting a lot better percentage because they are more self-sufficient. So
I think there's space in the market for every type of model. And as you said, a lot of people are coming over from the UK. Yeah. They need to be part of a community, get the training, get the leads given to them. And
I remember Miles also said in that interview, and he's not going to bring anyone who's not putting 50K on the board, which is fair enough because
that's his model.
Yeah, he's relying on self-sufficient people who are actually already hit the ground running. So those people are great. People say you're getting ripped off doing 50-50 though. It's like, these are the guys that need to learn. So yes, and eventually they're going to be ripped off because they should be earning more because they're not using the
resources.
Yes, absolutely. As soon as you don't need your company, and when you don't need them, of course.
Or when you graduate, when you've
gone to that thing, you've got a hub of good clients, and you are
self-sufficient.
Then absolutely, you should be arguing and you should be debating for more percentage. 100%.
Okay, and then we had Farhan Ali from Evernest, and we had a little debate which actually ruffled some feathers. And you'll be familiar with this because you're from Staines, not far from Heathrow Airport.
Upon Thames.
And Upon Thames. Is it really? It's not.
No, Staines upon Thames. Yeah,
have they called it? Have they rebranded to Staines upon Thames?
Classy as fuck, mate.
Oh god, the prices must have gone through the roof with that rebrand.
Proper expensive. My mum's place right by the train station, very expensive. There's talks of tube.
Really?
So
blimey. Okay.
Cash in.
Well, I made the mistake of saying, who would want to buy next to the airport? And then a whole bunch of people jumped in the DMs and were like, you don't know, you have no idea what's happening with Heathrow property prices. They're going through the roof.
It is. Obviously from around that way, West Drayton, Hayes, all these areas, they are bumping up. Hounslow, they are pumping up Staines, especially Bedfont, all of them.
Did you have like flight path noise in Staines or not really?
Yes, and you do get used to it. See, I lived in Felton, which was probably even closer.
Oh gosh, prison.
Yeah,
Felton.
young offenders. There was actually a fun story because we live right by the young offenders. We had an escaped prisoner hiding our bushes.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
okay.
Hiding our bushes. So that was a fun time. But I don't remember that stuff. But yeah, there was a lot of the areas around that way. They are going up in price. It's not the nicest area. There are not great parts of it, but there are some very, very nice parts of it as well. So it makes sense.
Okay.
But from a live near airport, no worries at all.
And then the 49th episode was Salim from Aon Tristle. So that was all about the 10 principles of business ethics in real estate. Any comments on ethics or anything to say about?
People have ethics in real estate?
They should have 10 different types of ethics in real estate, yes.
Yeah, why not? Like, look, I think ethics, at the end of the day, business is business. And that can sound like I'm a bit naive or colluded or everything like that. Don't burn bridges, but you got to make sure you're making the right decision for yourself and your company. I think all jokes aside, it's very important to have ethics, both personally and professionally. You can't be this bull in the china shop. Yeah, you can't be a little snake in the grass. But I think sometimes people try and press that on you, like, yeah, but come on. They pull at the heartstrings, whether you're a client, whether you're a broker, whatever it is. People will try and pull on the heartstrings. Oh, you know, you're late on this invoice. Oh, please, can I pay? You got to have, I suppose the ethics are, don't be a pushover a lot of the time, but you can also be a bit empathetic sometimes.
And
not
then
too much.
And then my last episode, number 50, was Mohammed Kaswani from Property Finder, where we spoke about everything a real estate agent needs to know about mortgages. Have you taken out a mortgage yet?
No, not taking out a mortgage.
When are you going to take out a mortgage? You've been here for how long now?
I've been here for 3 years. When will I take out a mortgage? Hopefully very, very soon.
Okay, all right.
Got some stuff to work on first.
Okay,
got to build the empire.
All right, well, that's it. That's it for the 51st episode of Golden Nuggets, the 50 episode tell-all or highlight key moments. Thank you very much for joining me. I couldn't have picked a better person to run through all the episodes.
I think you probably could have picked a better person, Silvia. Someone with experience in Dubai real estate would have helped.
No, it's nice that you're kind of on the edge and, looking with your opinionated.
My meme glasses.
Yeah, with your meme glasses. So any closing words? No,
look, obviously, thank you so much for the opportunity. You were a big supporter of us from Fight Night 1 and you've always stuck around. You've always given us love. Anyone who has done that, honest, they don't realise how much that's helped us. A follow, a like, and then companies have actually given us money that we can put on shows and support us. It's just mental, That's why it's so important to us that we have the best events, best night, make sure people get, value for money and a really good time. Jimmy and myself, we quit our jobs 2 years ago now so we can make this a reality. It's been tough at times, we couldn't have done it without the help of, the people close to us. Lottie has been a massive support for me and we've really, built a strong bond for that so we can overcome anything. Jimmy, the same. And now we are looking at the big future, big things on the horizon.
Brilliant.
And, the team at Only Sports, myself, Jimmy, Dave, Alex, Jack, Louis, Lamar, all of these guys, just keep an eye on us and we're going to make it big.
Watching you. And I wish you all the best of luck.
Same for you.
Thank
Golden
you.
Nuggets.
Here we go. Now we're off to 100 episodes. So we're going to do this, 50 more. There's going to be some in London. There's going to be some more in Dubai. There's going to be some in New York, potentially. Watch this space. And I'll probably be in Saudi in November. Nice. So yeah, we've got to knock out these final 50 because I'm going to get to 100 episodes by the end of 2024. And I can only do it thanks to you guys. So thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and stick around for the next 50 episodes. And thank you for all your love and support on the first 50. Thank you. And thank you on the live for sticking around.